Hey everyone, this is Ryder from Skip. I hope you're doing well and you're having a good weekend. I have a very quick update on breaking news, and this is real this time. It's Sunday, November 20th in the evening, and Congress has just agreed to the second stimulus package. They haven't finalized the votes, but they've reached an agreement, and this is big news. This is news that all of us have been waiting for 5 or 6 months at least. Since the first CARES Act in March and since the HEROES Act proposal, we've been waiting for this news. Now, it's not signed into law yet, but we are optimistic that a vote may happen either late tonight in the House or tomorrow morning, followed by a Senate vote, and then followed by Trump's signature to sign it into law. So please watch until the end of this very quick video, and most importantly, subscribe if you haven't already, because one of the things we will be doing, like we've done since March and since the CARES Act was passed, is we will be covering what's in this bill in detail, how it will affect you if you need unemployment, if you need PPP funding or other small business funding, and if you are looking for stimulus checks, are you eligible? So we will be dissecting that in detail in the coming days. So please subscribe. $900 billion is a lot of money, so there's a lot in there you should know about. This is half of Canada's GDP, just to put this in some perspective. Canada's GDP is $1.7 trillion, so basically lawmakers have just agreed on a massive influx of cash. And I'm going to tell you what's not in this briefly and then talk about the goodies that are in it. By the way, we've also covered this on our blog, and it's on the Skip app, so please download the Hello Skip app because we will be updating this all night long. We're watching CNN, the New York Times, the Washington Post for all these updates. Even the Senate and Congress now have channels to watch as news unfolds. We'll be watching those, and we'll be digesting the important stuff and putting it on our blog and on the Skip app. So here is the brief recap and why an agreement was able to be reached today. 2 things weren't in the bill. Number 1, liability protection for corporations. This is what Republicans wanted, but Democrats didn't. So earlier this week, there was an agreement to leave that out. Number 2, funding for state and local governments. Democrats have wanted this for months and months. Republicans have resisted this. So again, part of the compromise was to leave that off the table. So those 2 things are not in the bill. Now, what happened on Friday was a last-ditch effort by one of the Republican senators to limit the federal spending power. So basically, his proposal would limit the ability for, say, President-elect Biden to restart some of the Fed lending programs. That was thrown at the last minute. Democrats said, no way, we want this. This is a lifeline. We need to have that Fed option in case things get worse. So, in this last agreement, and they more or less agreed on this late last night, by the way, they were working till around midnight Eastern time last night. They agreed to drop that last-ditch attempt to hamstring Democrats and potential more funding opportunities from the Federal Reserve. So they got rid of that. There was more negotiations all day long today. Now, late today, Mitch McConnell on the Senate floor spoke and said, we've reached an agreement. So that was his announcement about an hour and a half ago to say, look, we're ready to vote. Now, they're finalizing a lot of the details now as we speak, because before they vote yay or nay, of course, every small detail has to be taken care of. So that is what they are doing. A couple of the highlights I'm going to point out: more than $284 billion for another round of PPP funding. Now, the big question will be the specifics of that. Which businesses will be eligible? For example, earlier this year, there was a formula where they would say, if your business was still down 90% of its revenue, more or less that amount, you may be eligible for PPP round 2. Now, we'll need to see what's in the details and whether that's been specified in this bill or whether that will be left up to the SBA. We all know that the SBA made some of their own decisions this year, and many of you were frustrated because the SBA said, well, let's only give people $1,000 per employee instead of $10,000 in terms of the grants. So as soon as we get the bill details, I'm going to read through it. Maybe I'll do another video where I read the whole thing to draw attention to it. Probably not, but I will read through it and let you know who would be eligible for PPP funding and if there is any other hidden small business funding in this bill. Finally, 2 more things. This would revive LAP supplemental federal unemployment benefits at $300 a week for 11 weeks. Okay, so that's half the $600 per week that we had, I think, March, April, May, June, ended in July, but it's still something. And then lastly, there will be $600 stimulus payments to millions of Americans earning less than $75,000. Now, the assumption is that this will be based on 2019 income like it was in the original CARES Act. We don't know that for sure, but as soon as we know the specifics of that earning threshold and whether it is considered this year or last year, we will let you know. That's going to be a big difference to a lot of you. If you weren't eligible, or if you were eligible for part of the stimulus payment, what will that look like? So we'll cover that. Again, hit subscribe because we're going to be doing updates every day this week. Maybe not Christmas Day, we'll see. But we'll be doing updates as details emerge. And download our free Skip app in the App Store so you can see the updates on our blog. As always, thank you so much for supporting us. We hope you are staying well, staying healthy, and have a good rest of your weekend. Thanks.